set it up. I'm actually taking advantage of the sun today to make my video. What's it? Sorry, I talk like a child sometimes, because maybe I am a child with a beard. Anyways, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope everyone is doing well. Currently, I am in Hong Kong, and I'm taking this advantage of a lot of the time I have to film a video because I'm all alone in my hotel room. I've been alone for a couple of days as well, with 2 beds, which is fun because I can switch beds without caring. As you know, I just turned 30. So 30 years old and I'm not married. Of course, people are gonna ask, people are gonna talk, which is fine. I'm not really disturbed by it because I'm just gonna live my life on my own terms. I'm just gonna, no, that's the wrong way to put it. I'm just gonna live my life patiently. I do want to get married. Everyone wants to get married, I think. Well, at least I want to get married. But I'm just being better as I go along. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala crosses this path for me with someone, then I'll get married, inshallah. So this video is going to be in that topic of discussion of relationships. And there are going to be a couple of things that I learned about relationships in my 30s. Wait, in my 20s. I'm 30 now. In my 20s. Yeah. In my 20s. It's gonna bring some benefit for those that are looking to get married, for those that are looking into getting into a relationship. Now, I know some of you are gonna be like haram and stuff. Just take note that when I'm talking about relationships, I'm talking about halal relationships. I'm talking about ta'aruf. At times you will find yourself catching feelings. That's normal as a human being. We all have feelings, but we just have to regulate and control our feelings when that time comes. And I hope you guys can control it at that point in time. So this is something I'll share that I've learned when it comes to relationships. And yes, those haram police, your concerns are valid. We're not talking about going out dating with someone in the park or going to the cinema or having dinner with someone you're getting to know for marriage. We're not supposed to do that as Muslims. We're not talking about holding hands before marriage. We're not talking about hugging or kissing before marriage. That is totally haram. Like, I'm with you. Haram police, I'm with you on that. So I understand the concerns of the haram police. Just be reminded that we're all in the safe zone here. Anyways, let's get straight to the video. So the first thing I learned about relationships is always have the right intention when you're entering into a relationship. This is going to be a red flag for a lot of people. If you are getting to know someone and they say, marriage is not on my mind, I'm just getting to know you just to see how it goes, that's a red flag. Axe them out. See ya. Assalamu alaikum. Ma'as-salama. Bye-bye. That should be a red flag number 1. As a Muslim, I'm proud to share that my faith puts so much importance on having the right intention. Like everything we're supposed to do, we have to have the right intention. When you're getting to know someone, you have to ensure that you get to know someone for the sake of marriage. We're not testing out people. We're not playing with someone's life. We're supposed to have that intention set first. So before you enter into a relationship, you should have this in mind. Am I prepared to be in a relationship with someone? The sun's going down. Why? Oh, Mr. Cloud, come on, give me some space. The second point that you need to take note of when you're getting into a relationship is family. Islam is a faith that teaches us that when it comes to marriage, it's not a unification of 2 souls, it's a unification of 2 families. And that's just beautiful. This is another red flag. Like, if someone doesn't inform their parents, you have to be careful with this. It's either they're afraid to inform their parents and it takes them time to get to that, or they're simply not proud of you as a person. They don't see you as someone that's gonna get along with their parents. So you have to ensure that it's best that when you get into a relationship, the first thing that you do is you inform your parents. Now, you don't have to bring them to meet your parents, or you don't have to meet their parents immediately. I understand that it takes time for that moment to happen, but the point to note is that both parents have to be informed. Like, okay, mom, I'm getting to know so-and-so. If you inform your parents, at times they're gonna help you facilitate that path of getting to marriage. And at times they are gonna give you advice in which you will need to know about the other gender. For example, I learned a lot about women from looking at my own mom, how to understand women to a certain extent. And I learned a lot about how to interact with women from the way my dad treats my mom. I learned the responsibilities or the role that the man should be. I learned the responsibilities and the roles of a woman. So this is what I'm talking about. When it comes to family, you need to get your family involved as soon as possible, as soon as you're comfortably able to do that, so that you can kind of start that unification process and see if your families are going to get along together, if there are certain things that you need to work on, or they're just not going to get along together. And then you can at least you can make that decision early on in the game. In the game, it's not a game. Life is not a game in that relationship. And then you can think of whether you need to move on or you can work on it. Now, the third thing that you need to know is the importance of istikhara, praying istikhara. Istikhara means asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for goodness. It doesn't necessarily mean asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a dream, but it's just asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for goodness. So if you're getting to know someone for the sake of marriage, you have to ensure that you're doing istikhara. You have to ensure that you're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, constantly relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for goodness. Because first of all, you don't know that person. Like, even if you're married, one of my teachers said, even if you're married, you will not be able to know that person 100%. So it is a risk. To a certain extent, marrying someone is a risk. So you need to ensure that you're trusting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're putting that trust and reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the very beginning, so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be able to keep you grounded, will be able to mold your heart, will be able to show you a certain direction from the way people talk about your partner that you're getting to know, from the way your parents give you advice, from the way your heart feels at that point of time, from the general goodness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be giving you. That's why you need istikhara. Istikhara doesn't necessarily mean that you're waiting for a dream, but istikhara generally means you're asking Allah for goodness in anything that you're doing. You can either make istikhara and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to choose for you. This requires a strong tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where you have to kind of detach yourself for a while and then pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to kind of show you a sign, show you a reaction in your heart, so to say. Or you can make that decision on your own. Like, you do research, you ask your friends about this particular person, you ask your mom for advice, you see this person from a distance, and so on and so forth, and then you make a decision, and then you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring goodness to that decision that you made. So you can either leave that decision to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or you can make that decision on your own and then seek goodness in that decision for you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I hope that makes sense. The fourth thing I learned about relationships is that real love starts after marriage. Real love is when it is tested. This is one of the things that my teachers have said. You don't really love someone when it's not tested, right? So interestingly, I saw a lecture online and it says that the word hub comes from the word ha and the ba and the ba. The ha comes when you want to make the sound of the ha, it's in the middle of the throat, so it's inside. So love starts inside and then it moves to your lips, which is the sound in which you make the ba, hub. Love starts inside and then it is testified with your lips. So love is actually inside yourself. Real love is inside yourself, and then you testify it. So a lot of times when we get into a relationship, we don't really understand what love is because it's not tested yet, but we've already testified that for someone. Yeah, we should be very careful when we get into a relationship. Real love is when you're tested. Real love is when you've seen the flaws of your partner, because this is after marriage, and you're still willing to stay. You're still willing to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala together. You're still willing to work on it, because a relationship is something that you need to constantly work on. Even when you're married, there will be problems that you're gonna be facing. I mean, this is part of life. There's no relationship where there is no arguments, there is no problems. There is gonna be problems because we're two different individuals. We're a male and a female. We think differently. We control our emotions differently. Our mental state is gonna be slightly different as well. So there is gonna be problems that you're gonna face in your marriage. There is going to be challenges that you're going to face. But real love, that's when real love grows, right? The word love, hope, comes from the word habba, which is a seed, and a seed grows. And it grows when you give it the nutrients or the elements that it needs to grow. When you're tested, that is the nutrients for your love to grow in a relationship. When you're tested, then you ask yourself, like, wait, why am I still here? Why do I not want to leave the relationship yet? Then you realize that because I care so much about this person, I want to bring goodness to this person. I'm making dua every day for that person. I'm thinking about this person every day. This is real love. When it's tested, when it's difficult, but you still stick with each other, willing to work on it, willing to give everything that you have, willing to bring this person closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala together. This is when real love sets in. So when you get into a relationship, try to have this mindset in place right from the very beginning. It's okay to be attracted to someone, that's fine, because we're opposite genders, that's natural. If you're attracted to the same gender, then no comments. I ain't gonna judge, Allah's gonna judge. Be careful. So it's normal to be attracted to someone of the opposite gender. It's normal to have feelings for someone of the opposite gender. But real love, true real love, is when it's tested. When you've seen the weaknesses in your partner, when you've seen the bad side of your partner and you're still willing to stay, and you're still grateful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent you that partner, and you still want to see that partner of yours get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala together. That's real love. The other thing that I learned in a relationship is that always be honest from the very beginning. In anything that you do, honesty has to be there. It has to be transparent to a certain extent. A lot of times when people get into a relationship, like when they're getting to know each other, they project themselves in a way that they're perfect in some way. Like, there's no flaws in me, I'm perfect. Like I said, when you're getting to know someone, you're out to impress someone, right? You're interested in someone, you're out to impress them. Vice versa, it's gonna be the same. And then when feelings catches on, it's gonna be different. It's gonna bring that thing to a whole different level of trying to impress that person. So you need to ensure that honesty is there from the very beginning. This is why you should include your parents from the very beginning, inform your parents from the very beginning, so that in a way they keep you sane, in a way they give you advice you thread lightly. They're keeping you grounded in your values. Like, you're not projecting yourself to be someone else, you're just being yourself, and you're hoping and praying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens this person's heart to accept you for who you are. That's the best way to start a relationship, starting on the right foot, starting with the right intention, and starting with the right mindset, and ensuring that all your cards are on the table. This is me as a person. Like, if you think you're not going to be able to be okay with that, then it's easy for us to move on, right? That's why you have to ensure that you're honest from the very beginning. The next point that I learned about relationships is that lust, looks, and appearance are secondary. The reason I said it's secondary is because it matters to a certain extent, because you have to ensure that you're attracted to that person. You're going to be waking up to that person every single day. So it's fine to find someone that you're attracted to in terms of their appearance, in terms of their physical strength, or in terms of any other features that it's in your preference. You want your husband to be taller than you want your wife to be shorter than you, it's fine. But you have to ensure that, you have to realize that that one is secondary. The primary thing is that you have to ensure that that person has a good character, good akhlaq, good adab, and that person in a way has the right mindset to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't have to be exactly the same in terms of personality, because my parents are not exactly the same. But you just have to have the right mindset in which you both want to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You want to increase your faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is important, and you have to ensure that that person has the right attitude, has the right character. I mean, no one is ever going to be the same from day one to the day they die. Their character is going to shift, their character is going to change from time to time. But if a person has good character, if that person is grounded in their faith, paired together, they will be on a path of ihsan. They will be on a path that is going to be constantly growing. Yes, that person is going to have mistakes. We're all fallible. We're all human beings, right? We are going to make mistakes. But if that person has the right character, if that person has the right faith in their deen, they are going to improve themselves, right? If that person has the right mindset to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are going to improve, even though if they have mistakes. So you need to ensure that you understand this, and understand that lust, appearance, and etc. are temporary, right? You might like the way someone looks when they're young, but when they're old, you might not like the way they look. I mean, that's natural. When I was younger, I don't have these wrinkles on my head. When I'm at this age, yikes, Sergeant, look at that. It's very difficult for me to remove them, unless I use Botox. Just kidding. No, natural. So appearance is going to change. For the lady, her body is going to change. The way she looks, her appearance is going to change when she's bearing the child. She's going to put on weight. That's natural. As a guy, you have to understand this. If you're not happy that your wife has put on weight after she's given birth to the child, then you have a problem. You have to settle that problem with your mind first. And that guy is probably going to put on weight as well. I mean, if he's going to be the only one working while the wife, is going to bear the child and nurse the child, he might put on weight as well, because he's going to work himself a lot and he might not have time to exercise and so on and so forth. I'm not making excuses for anyone here, but I'm just saying that looks and appearance is going to change, and we have to teach ourselves that that is fine. That's just the way life works. What is important is the mindset of someone and the character of someone. That person has to be a person of good character and someone who has faith in their deen. And inshallah, those weaknesses that you're going to see in that person is going to be improved as they progress in their life. With your help, of course. As partners, we're supposed to help each other. And the last thing I learned about relationships is that endings are not failures. This is going to be sensitive for a lot of people, especially when feelings are involved. Sometimes when you're getting to know someone for the sake of marriage, it doesn't work out. Sometimes when you're getting to know someone for the sake of marriage, it doesn't always work out. That period of getting to know someone can be very long. That period of getting to know someone can be very short, and sometimes you do catch feelings and so on and so forth, because like I said, it's natural for someone, for a guy or a girl, to catch feelings at some point, but you just need to control those emotions, and sometimes that relationship doesn't work. So when that happens, you have to ensure that you trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes you have to understand that sometimes we try to work on certain issues during that stage and it still doesn't work out. At that point of time, you have to remind yourself that maybe there's someone better for you in store. You should move on and meet someone else. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has someone in store for you that's going to be better than what you think is suitable for you. Don't be too demoralized. Don't be too down when certain relationships don't happen. It's normal because it is the getting to know stage. So there will be times when you find yourself, clicking with someone but that person doesn't feel the same way. You have to set this in your mind. You have to understand this from the very beginning. Not everything clicks. Sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts that person in the path for you. You meet that person for a period of time so that that person can help you to grow to be something better, or that person can help you understand life better, or that person can help you understand your deen better, or that person can help you prepare yourself for someone else. This is something crucial that you need to know, right? So failure is it's not the end. Failure could be the beginning of something better for you. For example, you might enter into a relationship when you're not mature, when you're not truly prepared to get married. You might enter into that relationship and you catch feelings and so on and so forth. And then one day, one of you decides, or both of you decides that it's not going to work out, and you break away, you break up, you move on. Then you have to understand that at times, that breakup is not a breakaway per se, it's a break-in, because when you go through that phase of difficulty, because things didn't work out for you, it breaks into your heart and you learn what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to have, what you're supposed to become, right, before you get married. A lot of times, marriage itself matures people. A lot of times, getting into a relationship or getting to know someone, it matures your mindset. You finally understand, oh, wait, this is what I'm supposed to do. Oh, wait, this is the meaning of a true relationship. Oh, wait, this is the purpose of marriage, to get you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with your partner. When you go through these phases in your life, it's supposed to help you become a better human being. So you have to understand it. A failure is not the end. It could be the beginning to something new. So that's just a couple of things that I learned about relationships. At 30, I'm old. 30. That's the fun thing about being alone in your room, having the entire room to yourself and not be able to annoy anyone. Anyways, I hope this video benefited you guys. It's gonna be a long video, so I do apologize. Okay, yeah, that's it for the video. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.